The Franklin Park Zoo is getting in the spirit of Halloween with a special nighttime attraction. It's made possible through collaboration with the Puppet Showplace Theater. To tell us about the wild things at the Midnight Zoo is our guest from Zoo New England, the Vice President of External Affairs and Programming, Cynthia Mead. Thank you very much for being with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Chris.
First of all, set the scene for me, because this is nighttime when the real animals are off for the end of the day, and then what happens?
Well, then our guests are treated to a whole mystical evening zoo event, as it were, with animals, or I should say creatures that you've never seen before. So what it is when you come to the Midnight Zoo, it's this 360-degree immersive experience where people get to come in and see these unique, one-of-a-kind creatures. You won't see them anywhere else. They were specifically designed and created for the zoo. And you get to walk through this little spooky woodland area where they live, and you get to encounter them, and you get to encounter the keepers that take care of them. And so it's engaging, it's fun, it's a little bit scary, there's a few laughs in there, so it's really a wonderful opportunity to come and enjoy Halloween.
It makes me think of that kid's book, Where the Wild Things Are. That's the kind of creatures?
They are very unique, and they are very different. So yes, it certainly isn't a takeoff on Where the Wild Things Are, but that's a very good analogy. You will just meet these mystical creatures from the wilds of your imagination that you won't find anywhere else.
Set the scene too, in terms of the people viewing this, because you're going to be taking them, I guess, in groups, as opposed to letting some of them go all by themselves and get scared.
Yes. Well, I think it's because it's immersive and it's interactive that it's fun to move through Midnight Zoo in a group. So you'll go in, and then at each point you'll encounter a different animal and its caretaker. And I don't want to ruin the surprises, but there are several surprises along the way, things that you won't be expecting that happen. And it's fun. It's engaging. I think that people enjoy it the most when they go, and they're really willing to partake, as it were, in some regards to the performance that is going on.
What about the age for this? Because you don't want to bring somebody who's so young that they're going to be scared out of their wits.
True. We definitely advise that it's for 6 and up. I think that's a really good age. I've been there several nights. I've seen the children go through, and the parents and adults without any kids. And, they've all really seemed to enjoy it. There's humor at different levels, so sometimes the adults will understand some of the humor that maybe the kids wouldn't get quite so quickly. But I really think the age 6 and up is probably best.
Talk about how this fits into the strategy of making the zoo draw people in, because I guess, a lot of people think a zoo never changes,
Right.
and of course that's not true here, but I guess how does this work, getting more people to start to discover the zoo?
Well, that's a wonderful question, and that's one of the reasons why we did this. We have a lot of different events throughout the year that attract different segments of the population, because we really want to engage with everybody. So we'd like everybody to come and have a little taste or encounter with the zoo. Even if it's a fanciful Halloween event, it gets them thinking, maybe gets them to come back, and we begin to build this connection, because frankly that's what it's all about. It's connecting people with wildlife. In this particular case, it's imaginary wildlife, it's fanciful, but nonetheless there's a little theme that runs through about taking care of these creatures in the environment.
Now, I know this is not on every single night, but there will be many nights, especially over the next couple of weeks, when this is going to be happening, right?
Yes, so it's Thursday nights through Sunday nights. So it's those 4 nights.
And from what time would that be? From
6 to 10 p.m.
And we're talking with Cynthia Mead from Zoo New England. Of course, for any of people directions on where to find their way to this, I guess they should park at near the entrance that's close to Blue Hill Avenue where the zebras
Actually,
giraffes.
you can use either entrance.
Yep.
So the one that's closest to the encounter is at the what we call sort of the rear side of the zoo, which is closer to the tropical forest and White Stadium. If you get off at the front of the zoo, we actually have our little Halloween train that'll help you get down to where the area is if you want to ride as opposed to walking.
Now, I know when you come up for this event, you're not going to be able to see the regular live creatures, but
that is true.
But you might want to check out some changes because, first of all, you have a whole new children's zoo there.
Yes, we are very excited about that, Chris. We just opened it at the beginning of September, and it's our brand new children's zoo. It was a $7.2 million capital campaign that we just completed, and it's really a wonderful space. I hope people, whether you bring children or not to the zoo, I hope that you will stop and see it, because not only does it contain animals, but it really was designed specifically to better connect children with nature. And we started at a point where children understand relationships, and that's neighborhood. Everybody lives in a neighborhood. The neighborhood may look different, but everybody lives in a neighborhood. So what we have done is we've designed the children's zoo to talk about neighborhoods in a way that connect basically ecosystems and compare it to neighborhoods. And in addition to that, what we've done to try and really break that, that separation that so many of us have from nature, we've incorporated a lot of children's play, specifically because we know scientifically, educationally, that play helps children learn, but also because it's great to get them moving and encountering nature. So for instance, we have you can climb up to an eagle's aviary, and if you are overlooking at the prairie dogs, we have a prairie dog bubble inside the exhibit so kids can climb under like prairie dogs would do and pop up into the exhibit. So there's a lot of play that's been specifically targeted to just help children connect better with nature.
And as I noticed recently, you have new lions, and just to hear them roar.
That is something, I've worked at the zoo for over 18, 19 years, and it's something that when I hear, it never gets old. I never take it for granted. And we can be inside of a building, and I can still hear their roar at certain times. It's really it's a marvelous opportunity to see these splendid creatures, which I will never get, maybe I'll go to Africa and maybe I'll get to go on a safari, but for most of us, we don't get to connect with nature in that way. And these brothers are beautiful. They are incredible. And they really have an impact when you see them up close, just the size of their paws or how big their teeth are when they're yawning. It's really incredible.
And their posture.
Yes.
We should also mention that if people want to get more details, whether it's about the imaginary creatures or the real ones, you've got a website that they can check out?
Absolutely. They can either go to zoonewengland.com or they can go to franklinparkzoo.com.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Cynthia Mead from Zoo New England. We'll have more news in just a moment.